Hi everybody, it's Peter Bird here from Optimal Nutritional Excellence or One. Today I'd like to have a wee talk about blood pressure. In my practice, where I've been working as a nurse for the last 30 years, regularly we find people with elevated blood pressure. Now, elevated blood pressure is generally the canary in the coal mine for vascular disease. So if you've been told your blood pressure's up, your blood pressure's high, or above normal, in most cases, that's the beginnings of vascular disease, or that's the first signs that you may notice of vascular disease. What can be done about it from a optimal nutritional excellence perspective? In 1998, three scientists, well, one of them was a pharmacologist, discovered a substance, a gas, called nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is involved in a number of things in the body, but one of its main purposes in the human body is to regulate blood pressure. So it was quite the discovery. What it allows is the vessels, the 100,000 kilometers of hoses that carry the blood around the body, it allows them to relax. And it allows that to happen through the release of nitric oxide from cells that line the hoses called endothelial cells. So they're like solar panels, if you like, that line or the inside of a Teflon pan allows the blood to run smoothly. And they release nitric oxide. Now, as we age and as our typical Western diet, high in ultra-processed foods and high in animal protein, as they start to have a oxidative effect on the human body, so your exhaust fumes, if you like, they damage those endothelial cells, rusting them, causing them to malfunction. And so the production of nitric oxide decreases. So you'll get to a certain age and your blood pressure starts to rise because the nitric oxide production in the body has been compromised primarily through the typical Western diet. Smoking, environmental factors can influence that, of course, but primarily it's the typical Western diet or what we're eating. So in my practice, what I do is I focus on nutrition, and we also use these strips here. They're called, you might see these strips, and they're an indicator strip. They've got a panel there that'll indicate sort of low to higher levels of nitric oxide. And these strips are fairly straightforward. They're little strips like that. You put a drop of saliva on them, and they will they'll glow one end of the spectrum or another. And so what I do is I have a process I go through. I will get the people I'm dealing with to put some saliva onto the end of the strip, and we get a color, and we do blood pressures. And then we formulate, from a nutritional perspective, a plan moving forward where they can take these strips home, they can eat certain foods, they can do a post-test after an hour or so of having that food, watching the nitric oxide levels rise, so you can see it on the indicator strip. Then what we see is a reduction in blood pressure in most cases. Quite significant changes, reduction in blood pressure. So if you are one of those people that have been told that your blood pressure is elevated, you may be on medication already, or your doctor may be considering blood pressure medication for you, my advice is come and see me, and let's introduce some positive things that we can do from a nutritional perspective that allows you to have a natural, healthy approach to managing your blood pressure. And it's something that you can do. Now, the reality is we all have to eat. We all eat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. So if we get that right, it will have, and we know from evidence-based science that the nutrition we eat, if we eat well, can have a huge positive impact on our health. And equally so, if we eat the typical Western diet, high in animal products, high in ultra-processed foods, then we get negative health outcomes. 85% of people in the West, by the time they're 65, are being treated for some type of chronic health condition and on some type of medication. And a large part of that is blood pressure. A third of all people, 1 in 3 in New Zealand, in the West, will die from heart disease, vascular disease, strokes, heart attacks. We have approximately 9,000 strokes a year and about 6,500 heart attacks a year, which often are underreported. You might get some pain or discomfort and think nothing of it, where it was a heart attack. That equates to around about 1 person every 40 minutes in New Zealand having a heart attack or a stroke. So if your blood pressure is elevated, if you're concerned about your blood pressure, if you're on medication for blood pressure, come and see me. Let's sit down, have a talk. We can cover a lot of ground in an hour, make essentially a green prescription for you that you can aid in reducing down your blood pressure. Look, as always, it's great to catch up with you. It's lovely to see you. If you like this blog, what I'd like you to be able to do is to hit the subscribe button down below and like. Okay, catch ya. See ya. Bye.